Hey guys, let's talk about complex numbers. Okay, the standard form for complex numbers is a plus bi. This means that complex numbers have two parts. Okay, number one, they have a real part, which is a, can be any real number at all. Bi represents an imaginary number. Okay, I is the imaginary number. It's right here. Okay, the definition of I is the square root of -1. Okay, of course you cannot take the square root of a negative number, so we have to have something to help us deal with that. Okay, and I is going to help us deal with that. I, of course, stands for imaginary. Since you can't really take the square root of a negative number, it has to be imaginary. So whatever we're going to have under our radical, if it's a negative number, we're going to replace that with I. All right. Now, I can be in several different forms. We have I squared. That's the same thing as saying the square root of -1 times the square root of -1. Well, anytime you square a radical, you end up with just what's under the radical. So the radical goes away, and you're left with -1. So I squared is -1. I cubed is the same thing as saying I squared times I. Alright, we already know what I squared is. It's -1. So -1 times I is just -I. Alright? Now I to the 4th is the same thing as saying I squared times I squared. So that's -1 times -1. And -1 squared is +1. Okay, now what about I to the 5th? Same thing as saying I to the 4th times I. Well, I to the 4th is 1. So 1 times I is just I. As you can see, the pattern starts over. So if you have I to any number, any power, say I to something hideous. Okay? I to the 391st power. What we have to do to make things easy on ourselves is we take our exponent. We're going to divide it by 4. Okay, I'm going to actually work it out long ways. 4 doesn't go into 3, but it goes into 39 9 times. Gives us 36. Bring down a 3 and a 1. 4 goes into 31 7 times. 4 times 7 is 28, giving us a remainder of 3. Now this 3 here tells us everything we need to know. It's like our exponent has been reduced to 3. So we have I to the 1st, I to the 2nd, I to the 3rd. We look across and we have -I. So I to the 391st power is -I. Okay? Alright, I'm going to stop there for part 1 of imaginary numbers. Okay, just reviewing ourselves on I and the powers that it can go to. Okay, we'll continue in part 2.